3, 2, 1.
Yes, so we're live.
Yep,
Hello, everyone.
looks like.
Okay, good. Hi, Igor. Hi, Ross.
Hello.
Sup,
Hello.
Hi,
guys?
gents.
Hello, guys.
Yes. So Igor is in Poland at the moment,
Yes.
and me and Ross, we are in Dubai, working on our tokenizations project with Stobox. So, hello, everyone. My name is Jindea from CEO of Stobox, and today we're gonna speak about the updates, recent updates, the development of what's going on with our activity. We have Igor with us, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Stobox Exchange. And we have Ross, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Stobox Group. So basically that's a group unites different directions and different activities of Stobox business. So let me outline the agenda first. So today we're going to speak about what's in respect to updates of, first of all, tokenization. This is one of our main actions that we're working on for already 3 years. Who didn't know that? Then we're going to speak about our developments in respect to Stobox Progress Chain, which is L2 blockchain that we're working on. And then we definitely spend some time talking about the exchange, its activities, our crypto activities, what's going on at the moment. And definitely we'll speak about future plans for the upcoming month and for the first couple of months and first quarter of 2022. So again, thank you for being with us. And let's start. So from the tokenization standpoint, again, me and Ross, we're now in Dubai working on the setting up of the representative office, which means that we are focusing on tokenization of the real estate basically in this region. And we have great news to share that we have signed the first contract. It's an under NDA, so we cannot spread the word about it much, but it's a multi-billion asset company that seeks tokenization in real estate. It's a Dubai-based company, and we're happy to actually start cooperation with them. As you may know, that the process of tokenization, it consists of kind of 3 main pieces. And the first is kind of feasibility assessment, where we understand how this project should be built, what type of tokenization, what best practices, and how it should be accomplished. So that's the first stage. It may take some time because this is exactly where we synchronize with the client. We synchronize upon the deliveries. We understand the flows, the stakeholders, basically the responsibilities. So at this point, it's very important to plan everything. So it's a planning stage. The second stage is the legal stage, where unlike, and I will tell it a bit later, that unlike with unregulated securities that we are familiar with from classical STOs that we did, like LandShare, we're going to speak about, and our own Stobox, it's a private and registered securities. With this asset class, the legal goes much beyond, because it's a multi-billion-dollar assets, and they have to be tokenized with the precision and with the approval of local regulators. So we're definitely going to be one of the first guys who do tokenization from Dubai, and it's a legal challenge. We're not managing the legal part. I want to make it clear that we're not legally authorized. We're not experts we're not officially legal. We're not lawyers, but we perfectly understand the landscape and the legal barriers, and they walk through kind of things that the company has to accomplish. So we manage the whole flow of including the legal. And the last part is the technical part. And unlike with the today's classical DS dashboard, which you can actually go and check out from Stobox STO or from Landshare STO that we've released. I will mention that a bit later. This is something which, from a technical standpoint, goes a bit beyond, because now it's not a single company manages their securities. It has to be certain custodials. Those securities are they're regulated, they are registered, which means that there's a lot of or set of rules that the platform has to have in order to complete the tokenization. So in order to do that, we're actually upgrading our dashboard infrastructure to the second product, which we call the Dashboard Pro, and that this product will be used for advanced and for kind of regulated securities tokenization. So we believe that the project will be accomplished by. We can't estimate the legal works because we don't know what comes from the regulatory standpoint, but we believe that the project is manageable at the beginning of Q2 2022. And by that, we will definitely launch that SaaS product to be able to capture the demand and to tokenize the regulated real estate in Dubai. So that's really good news for us. In terms of, I will also mention that in terms from the token implication and STBU implication, all these assets that we are now putting on the dashboards, these assets will be tradable at certain point, and they will be tradable using our L2 blockchain. So utility tokens that we launched last year will be converted or partially converted into the coins, and the coins will be used to pay the gas fees by companies that are actually promoting the secondary trading of their registered securities. So this implies that more assets we have on our chain, more assets we tokenize, more value and more demand we create for STBU, regardless if it's a token or coin, it will generate the demand. And I know that a lot of you guys are patiently waiting for that demand to be live. So we're working hard to make sure that we bring multiple multi-billion-dollar assets into the network via tokenization, and provide a steady grounds for the rise of our utilities. So that's the kind of the first piece of news. If Ross, Igor, if you have anything to add, mention, please let me know. If Ross sees any questions, I'll be also share them, those with me. I'll be happy to comment. Yep.
Regarding the first part of tokenization that you mentioned, very important to congratulate our team regarding our first client, Landshare, that have already live dashboard and currently running their own STO. And I think it is a very big step of their Stobox digital securities dashboard development. And for the end of this year, we are waiting also for 2 additional clients that we will deploy for them their dashboard for management of their securities. And also
please.
And also we have very big plans for their upcoming months of the new year of the deployment of the dashboard for our existing clients that are waiting for this.
Yeah, let me define a couple of things. So when we say we have clients, it means that we have signed the clients and we're working with them on their security token offering. But last week, we have released our first client. So the first initial release was our Stobox STO, and now the first public client, which is a company called Landshare. Those are really amazing guys from United States, They do real estate tokenization. You can go on landshare.io. You can check them up. They have a really amazing community of more than 60,000 people just in Telegram, and if I'm not mistaken, something like 30,000 on Twitter. So they have their own utility tokens, and now they have this dual token model, same as we do, where they have a security token and utility token. We actually help them, and we manage their environment and their security token offering from, let's say, feasibility assessment stage, same as I said before, like from analysis and trying to figure out the best jurisdiction, the best practices, and how those things should be done, to basically the final step of support. And now we are on the support of the Landshare. You can go again, landshare.io or dashboard.landshare.io. All C is built with the Stobox. And this, first of all, this is great news. And secondly, for clients, this process is something new. So we try to create that flow as smooth as possible. But as we all understand, that some of the processes and most of the processes we pass for the first times, and clients especially pass for the first times. And we have to gain that perfect knowledge. So when we say we have that and that and that clients, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're all live. They all will be live, and we're working on that. That they are live. But the amount of processes that we have to sync, we're talking hundreds of them. So we take it very, very careful and try to build our knowledge base in order to streamline those operations on the later stages. And I think that once we kind of finish first 10 STOs and another 10 STOs, and we have a plan for next year. And if I'm not mistaken, we're talking about 50 plus STOs of small companies, which are not included the big guys that are coming from, for the Dashboard Pro. So by that, we will definitely have kind of a best perfect, the best practice and the best roadmap to streamline those operations, so that our unit economic, our company can boost from that, definitely. So so that's really good news. Another thing I want to mention, in that tokenization part, is that, as some of you may know, that we have partners with the Matis blockchain. It's a new L2, very professional guys who are building their own chain. We shared that information recently on our Twitter. So we are creating and we're building some of our security tokens built on their chain. We know that this chain is not sufficiently decentralized yet. It's fine, given the fact that I have $100 million fund for the ecosystem development. So we are looking forward to support Matis with in respect to tokenization. We'll see how it goes with in future, but as for now, we can definitely decrease the fees of transactions for our clients using Matis blockchain. And another thing I want to mention is that we are hunting, and we're hunting different professionals, different unique gods from different part of tech arena. And as of today, we're looking for a marketing guru. So if anyone thinks or anyone has that perfect marketing guy who can be involved in Stobox tokenization operations, we'll be definitely happy to screen, and we'll be definitely happy to communicate. So that's another, once we grow, we need better and higher C-level guys to help us grow. And sometimes our expertise, is just not enough. We need to go faster, and we need to go with a better, more experienced people that have, created really good SaaS products all over the world. And we definitely seek for that expertise. So
yep.
That's it in respect to tokenization. Again, if
Yep.
you have any questions, please write.
Yep. We have a question from Naomi, and the question is, do you need a legal license from Dubai government to offer the STO services in Dubai? Great question.
That's a good question. That's a good question. No, we don't. We don't. Or look, when we divide, define what is meant by STO services, we divide that into the consulting stage, which is a professional consulting and advisory, which is not regulated. We have applied for the company in so-called DIFC, which is a Dubai International Financial Center. It's a licensed company. It's not a regulated, but it's licensed company. So once we move further and receive our registration, the company will be licensed to do consultations in respect of security token offering. So basically, we outline the whole processes, and once we kind of start with the legal step, this is where our services, move to our complementary partners, like local lawyers who are, and we have a bunch, a set of companies that we have already signed the contract, the partnerships with. So those legal, qualified, local regulated entities that can provide legal, framing, but instead of our clients to speak to them like from a blank page, trying to figure out what's what, we basically frame the whole story for our clients. So whenever they go to the legal, they exactly know the questions what to ask, first of all. Secondly, it's not usually they go to legal, but is we kind of manage the whole thing. So the legal companies jumps on the board and is a part of a working group. Once legal is done, then our US-based company just provides the tag for that. So that's that's a kind of assemblage for the whole story. But answering your questions, no, we don't need a license other than a consulting company license that we are acquiring.
Yep. Thank you for a detailed answer. I think we can move forward.
Okay, guys. Once Igor has that angel view, nice angel view. So let's move further to our L2, and we had a set of questions about L2, and I kindly asked Ross to share the link, and this is a link this is a link to GitHub where you can actually check out the updates. The structure of our chain and the purpose of the chain is slightly different from what you have seen so far with with EVM, with Ethereum virtual machines chains. So we're not aiming for to hype on that. Our chain is done mostly for security tokens and mostly for regulated or KYC compliant entities. So it means that all of the operations could be traceable. All of the miners are KYC proof identities. We don't expect anonymity. I know it goes, it goes on just a different spot, different edge from the Bitcoin maximalism, but we're not talking about decentralization, in its pure vision. We talk about the ability of compliant assets to move on a single chain globally through the compliant and regulated node runners or operators. And this is our vision from the tokenization kind of aspect. And again, we believe that there may be multiple chains, and there will be multiple layers of securities, of where security tokens can be used. But we act as a business, and we have that opportunity to build whatever we would like to build in order to generate profits. And you, as our shareholders today, we are also shareholders of our business. We see that potential. So when we hear the arguments about like, you're not decentralized, you're permission chain. Yes, we're not decentralized. Yeah, we're not permission chain. I mean, we are permission chain, but we will be sufficiently decentralized to comply with international laws and regulations, and sufficiently decentralized in order to conduct operations that our customers seek. And our customers, what they would like to do is that they move their billion-dollar assets from client A to client B at the cheapest price, at faster as we can get. And this is exactly what we want to deliver by the chain. So even if we kind of create that funky NFT part of that, of through our hobby, it should not jeopardize the whole point of the chain. So please have a look at the documentation. If you follow Stobox, if you believe in what we do, please be responsible, do your own research, and check what we're building. Because again, we're not trying to follow, to build a side chain. We're not creating, something that Polkadot or Solana is trying to do. We're not capturing the global chain demand. We are here to step by step build the clients, put our clients on top of the chain, benefit from the secondary trading, provide our coins as a gas, and create our prosperity and build our prosperity as a private and then probably public company. So that's in respect to L2 chain. If you have any question, guys, please, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yep, and we are currently finalizing and working on tokenomics to share it with you.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Ross. Thanks for mentioning that. I know it's been a pain for some of you because it takes some time to work on the math of the tokenomics, and it's not like we come up with any funky numbers and just throw it out. It doesn't work like that. So what we're doing at the moment is that if you go back to 2015 and check out the Ethereum tokenomics, you will find out that it's absolutely different from what's happening at the moment. And why? Because even if we create that 5 GWI price for the transaction, and the chain at some point will be kind of loaded, somebody can put 50 GWI price. So, and that will change the whole story and might change the whole story. So we have to think about the demand, about the values locked, the value of of assets being locked. We think about this secondary trading. So we build the model. But what I'm definitely sure is that the 50 million pre-mining of L2 coins will only allow 500 miners to be, to be on the chain. I know 500 is a substantial number to get, but that's 100% of supply of the coins. So once we figure out that demand and supply model and basically the tokenomics, and I don't want to say when it's going to be, it's going to be definitely before the end of the year. So we will share that with you, and we try to keep the mathematics as close as, our vision as close to the numbers as we can possibly get.
Yep.
Yep. So thank you for that.
Yep. And we have one more question regarding this section about L2 and our tokenomics. So the question is, will all STO transactions will be done on Metis blockchain, or Metis blockchain will be used for only specific transactions like swap, bridge, etc.?
listen, guys. It depends upon the clients. So look, our security tokens are issued on Ethereum. Our first clients, Landshare, they issued on the Binance chain. Again, it's EVM based, so it's not a difficult update for the dashboard to make sure that it complies to the alternative chain other than Ethereum. So Landshare is built on Binance. And next client, it will 90% chance that it'll build on Metis. But what do we mean by built on Metis? It means the security tokens are issued on Metis. That's it. And this is a primary offering. None of these clients have a secondary trading yet. First of all, because it's a regulated thing. Secondly, because it just appears to be so. We haven't launched our own secondary trading, and Landshare has just last week they just released the STO. So, what's our plan is that once we introduce our L2 chain in the dashboard, the same way as you move tokens, let's say from a spot address to the wallet address or to exchange address, the same way you would move Ethereum, Binance, or Metis into L2 of Stobox. And then all the swap will be done on the Stobox chain. So not all of the clients as of today, as STO clients, they are launching secondary because of the regulated issue, especially with the regulated securities. Not all of the clients will be seeking for that swap thing. Sometimes P2P is enough. So P2P and that single use whatever trading will be done on the native chains of Ethereum, Binance, Metis, and so on. But when they want to move and use Stobox infrastructure for the secondary, and why it's not a Uniswap, because it has to be built in accordance to regulations. You can't sell any security to any person, and that rules are being built by Stobox. We take the regulation, we understand how it works, and we embed in the smart contract, and we embed on our chain. Again, we are here to make profits. We're not here to give out our smart contracts. So if our customers would like to benefit from the secondary trading, their clients, their investors would move from Ethereum chain to Stobox chain. And then the secondary will be done in accordance to rules and regulations. I hope that answers your question.
Yep, definitely. Thank you, Jin.
Okay, so that's a lot of things that we're covering. By the way, we assume that kind of our next lives would be done a bit differently. So instead of just going through our news, we will definitely go through the industry news, especially what we find what we find interesting, what we find kind of forming, kind of landscape changing and so on. And we will definitely go through some very important tweets and very important news that we all analyze with our analytics teams. And, that will allow you guys to kind of understand not only our words, but our words within the whole, industry framing that we, analyze, and why we, not just our decisions, but why we make those decisions. So I want our interviews, our, this live shows be as insightful for you, and maybe we will definitely bring other people on board, like specialists, like Igor. He's like moving from the angel to that crypto gig.
I'm waiting for crypto part. Crypto exchange.
Yeah, you're waiting for crypto part. So yes, I think our next live will definitely be more insightful from the market perspective, rather than just Stobox accomplishments. So I would like to mention some of the things in respect to our Stobox exchange, and then I will pass the word to Ross and Igor, and they will describe a lot of crypto things that's going on. The final part, and then the main part that we're working on is the Fireblocks. Fireblocks is the key management system, as well as the kind of an internal chain that is able to connect more than 600 different vendors, banks, custodials, different key management. It's a vault managed system. So which means that once we move there, we're no longer depend on the private keys that some of us may lose, or some of us may somewhere forget. We're all human beings, so that's why we shift. We don't want to hold money, don't want to hold assets at any point. We're not doing it at the moment because we have Tatum as our partner, and the Tatum provides the key management system. But the Fireblocks has much more integrations. We're talking about 28 chains, and we have already negotiated that our shift to Fireblocks would imply that our L2 will also be whitelisted at a part of the chain for Stobox, for Fireblocks. So in Q1, once we release the main chain, it will also be integrated into the Fireblocks, which means that all the security tokens that we, that are being traded, all the parties that we kind of build interconnection to, DeFis, Uniswap, our internal vaults will be interconnected and protected and even insured. So we're talking about like $100 million insurance on whatever assets, if anything happens, will be protected from the Fireblocks insurance partners. So that's a very important aspect. And once we finalize that, I hope it will be done. If it's not end of this year, it will be beginning of next year. Once we move there, then we'll be happy to remove our beta sign from the exchange and basically go live. And once we go live, the first thing what we're gonna do is to do EIO of the project that we're related to. It's called a Reborn. But let me stop at this moment and pass the word to my colleagues.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean. My part?
Your part.
Thank you. Hello, привет, salam alaikum. Guys, as you know, current version of our exchange is 0.8.0. As you know, we are improving and updating our product to make them more convenient and innovative. In this version 0.8, we have added, as you know, we were sharing this information with you, but I remind you about it and we'll tell you what we will do next. We have added in this version Bitcoin and Ethereum pairs, and now we could trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, but should say that we have a little problem with liquidity at this moment. Sometimes it could work strange, but we are working now on some fixes, and I will tell you later about this fix. And what we have added else: dynamic commission for withdrawal, 0 commission for every STBU pair. Now you could trade STBU without any commission, so it's our benefit for you for holidays. And what else? As you could see, we didn't have in trading history total and fee, and in the result you couldn't see how many fee you paid for transaction and how much on how some you bought the tokens. And now we have added this. Also, very important thing for STBU that we have added deposit and withdrawal section in Binance Smart Chain. Now you could deposit your STBU tokens via Binance. it is very helpful for us and for you, and some of community ask about it, and we have added. Also, we have added notifications of purchase or sales. Also, we have full exchange statistic model, and here are some interesting facts. Guess how much percent have we grown in these 2 months? If someone of you write some comment, would be great. If not, I will tell you. This is 133% active traders from October to November, and 76% new user on exchange from October to November. It's interesting because we did not provide any marketing activities. It was organically, and once we will run our marketing, I hope it will grow very, very fast, and it will be our little success. Full list of features also you could find in our documents that we were shared, and also you will see this information in our report, which we will share with you soon. And what we are doing now? Now we are working on 0.9 version. And planning to release it by the end of December. And what this version will include. Very important things, and I could tell you, I guess now, that we will have free internal transaction. It means that, for example, if I have account on Stobox and Jean has account in Stobox, I could send him money for free, and it will be very, very fast and completely for free. This is, I guess this is cool. I didn't see before these features in other exchange, probably on Binance, but no one uses. I don't know why. Also, as you know, maybe you don't know, in Poland, where I'm living now, yesterday we had St. Nicholas holiday, and guys from theie did a gift for me and give for us. They presented for us dark mode, dark theme. This is a beta mode, beta version of dark theme, but what I could tell you now is that we are working right now on improving this dark mode to very, very excited mode. And tomorrow we will, if everything will be okay, we will release dark mode, and we will release free internal transactions before version 0.9. This is the main information. Next, what we do and where our focus is Fireblocks, as Jean mentioned before, and human bot integration. This is our core things where we focus now. What else? After this, we will list our exchange on different platforms such as CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. I know that we mentioned it before, but too many things, you know. We are working on tech part, and this is a little bit different to explain. What else?
Let me add.
I just want to summarize. I just want to summarize.
I am the first.
I'm looking.
You go first. You go first. You go first.
Yep, I want to mention several points about Stobox exchange and the STBU token activities. So first of all, I want to remind you that we have already created a pool, liquidity pool on Binance Smart Chain for their STBU token, as well as we partnered with our close-up partners that I call Market Making Pro, Pro token, and we created a multi-farming pool with them on Binance Smart Chain. So currently, you can use our internal liquidity pool to buy STBU through Binance Smart Chain, as well as you can stake and farm your STBU token on Pro STBU pool on their Binance Smart Chain as well. Also, we are currently working on listing the first two projects that will be listed on the Stobox exchange. It is the Pro that we have announced and Metis DAO, Metis project that we are partnered with. And also, as Jean mentioned, we currently working on the first upcoming IAO on the exchange, and it will be their Reburn token, Reburn project from their NFT industry. So stay tuned. We are planning to release and let you know about their exactly dates of the listing. So stay tuned to the capture this moment and to be the first investor and the first token holder that will participate in these activities.
Early bird.
Sure.
Let me summarize. I think we've covered most of the topics, but I just want to summarize things that may be very important for you guys. If we look at the Stobox activity, I know it may, some of you may think that we're doing things and we are developing from kind of different, not very logically, but I want to stop on that and create that point in the future where we have our own blockchain that's being integrated into the ecosystem using the Fireblocks. We have our own exchange where we create, there's a substantial amount of users that are benefit from a low cost transactions, or sometimes as Igor's mentioned, the zero cost transactions. Because that point of revenue is not, some exchanges create that additional interest and additional fees because this is the only model of monetizing for them. For us, no. For us, we have much more substantial ways of getting the capital, and it goes through the corporates, it goes through the STO, which means that we can subsidize and create a better economy, a better service for the regular customers, for the B2C customers. And using our chain, using our exchange, using our dashboards, it's something that creates an ecosystem where a person with a mobile wallet is able, with Stobox mobile wallet, with the Stobox mobile wallet can store crypto safely, can buy security tokens, from USA to Dubai, sell those security tokens, stake at the same time using the wallet. Most of the operations can be done at a much cheaper cost, ensuring the safety, ensuring the integrity of the data and of the funds. And that's something which takes time. And we love to be in that fintech/crypto industry and develop our product, for the utilization of the, for the mass adoption, because we feel that if crypto is now becoming a kind of a fancy thing, again, getting more adopted throughout the globe, digital securities are something that not, even crypto guys haven't heard of, in everyday life. So we definitely have a long journey, and that excites us. So again, we're building that different parts that becomes melted in some point of the future, where we can definitely benefit from economies of scale within the range of our products. And this is exactly where we're going. So if you got that in mind, we are on the same page with you guys.
Cool. Cool. One more thing about Fireblocks is that users, thanks to this integration, will have additional insurance from us, and this is also benefits for us and for you as users, because we will not hold a private case.
We're not holding them now either, but the infrastructure that Fireblocks gives us is much better than what we have at the moment. and we would like to give you the best service we can. Thank you very much for, it's 45 minutes. If we have no other questions.
I have some points that I want to mention, and I want to add this to summarize their upcoming plans that we have for this month. And to be honest, we currently very actively working on the listing on some of the exchange. And stay tuned to follow us to not miss any announcement. And we will announce also the airdrop of STBU token. And as you know, guys, we met and we have a big Turkish community of our followers and of our project fans. And we currently considering about their Stobox exchange localization for their Turkish language. And also we currently working on the long read, the big article that we will announce in Tier 1 finance media about Stobox blockchain and Stobox tokenization activities that we are looking to share with real business, with real businessmen and C-level management of company around the world, to share with them our vision and explain more about tokenization opportunities, real estate market, L2 blockchains that we are building, and all of our achievements and future plans. So stay tuned, we will announce this soon as well. And as I mentioned and Jin mentioned, we're currently working on 2 additional clients that we are looking to deploy the digital securities dashboards for them up to the end of this year. And we're currently finalizing and developing L2 blockchain and L2 blockchain and STBU coin tokenomics.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you, Ross. Let me come back to the video stream. Yep, I'm here. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you. Stay with Stobox. We definitely will be publishing more news later this week. So stay in touch and thank you for your support.
Let's answer the last question from the community about our last section of the discussion. And the questions that we have is following. Do you give insurance about failed transaction on Fireblocks or something else?
I can't answer that question at the moment. I don't have this enhanced details on that. But what do we mean by an insurance in general is basically we as Stobox do not hold keys and private keys. We manage, we have an access to manage funds, but we make sure that no one, us as individuals, can jeopardize the safeness of the safety of the system. And to prove that, to put to put the money where the mouth is basically the only way is to ensure that. And insurance is not provided by us. It's provided by the third-party insurance on top of the Fireblocks. So if the funds get stolen, hacked, whatever, and it can be seen and it can be proved, it's kind of visible that then the insurance covers that. And again, it's not just the point where a one person is responsible for holding any funds at the moment. It's just going far beyond that to basically ensuring all the assets that are being stored with the Stobox infrastructure. That utilizes Fireblocks as the key management system.
Yeah, thank you, Jin, for a clarification and detailed answer.
Thanks, Jin.
Thank you, guys. I'm off. All the best. And
thank you. Stay tuned.
Hear you soon. Stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.